Hello guys, Nemox here, and today we are diving into What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 25. Before I start, remember to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you get notified when the next video comes out. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Recap from the last part. Part 24 concluded with the end of the Chunin exam preliminaries. Due to Sasuke leaving to train with Kakashi, Naruto had no one to help him train. After consulting with the third Hokage, Naruto was instructed to bring a note to someone at a certain hot spring. Along his way to the hot spring, Naruto kept on imagining what the personal trainer would be like. Before leaving the third Hokage's office, the third Hokage left Naruto with the personal trainer's name, Jiraiya, and a sheet of paper with the third Hokage's message. After arriving at the hot spring's entrance, Naruto waited outside for a few minutes before thinking of the possibility that Jiraiya could already be inside. Thinking the idea over, and believing that spending some time in the hot springs could help him relax his mind, Naruto decides to enter the hot springs to wait. When in the hot springs, Naruto couldn't see anyone due to the thick mist. Thus, he stopped looking and prepared to enter the hot springs for some relaxation. But, right as Naruto was about to enter the hot springs, he began hearing giggling sounds coming from the back of the hot springs. Turning his head, Naruto sees a man with long white hair and a towel wrapped around his waist peeping through a hole into what was obviously the woman's side. Naruto, being a lad with righteous heart, got up and prepared to teach the man a lesson. Jumping forward, Naruto aims to kick the perverted man away, but to his surprise, the man was able to swiftly dodge a sneak attack by jumping away. Surprised at the man's speed and strength, Naruto falls to the ground due to not landing his kick. Getting him from the ground, Naruto becomes wary of the man before him. This was when Naruto noticed the man's well-built body, thus confirming the man's ninja status. Realizing that this man might be the person he was looking for, Naruto walks up and asks if the man was Jiraiya. After receiving the answer that the man before him was Jiraiya, Naruto gives Jiraiya a short introduction of himself before rushing to his belongings where the note from the third Hokage was kept. Rushing back and handing the note to Jiraiya, Jiraiya takes a short look before understanding the current situation. Getting into his theatrical pose, Jiraiya begins his personal introduction. Confirming once again that the pervert was his assigned sensei, Naruto couldn't help but give a deep sigh, but at the same time, become excited. After this encounter, Naruto and Jiraiya left the hot springs to an open field beside a waterfall. Once they got there, Jiraiya asked Naruto to explain his current capabilities. Naruto then explained his mastery in the fire and air chakra natures, his shuriken skills, the multiple shadow clone jutsu, and his 2 Tomoe Sharingan. While listening to all the techniques Naruto could use, Jiraiya couldn't help but feel astonished, because he knew when he was Naruto's age, he wasn't even a third as strong as him. When Naruto finished explaining his abilities, Naruto also added that his chakras control seemed to be getting worse after the encounter he had with Orochimaru. Hearing his old teammate's name, Jiraiya's face suddenly darkened. After listening to Naruto's further explanation about what happened between him and Orochimaru, Jiraiya immediately went up to Naruto to check his neck before giving a relieved sigh. Following that, Jiraiya undid Orochimaru's 5-pronged seal, effectively negating Naruto's chakra control problems. After a few moments of processing everything he heard from Naruto, Jiraiya concluded that he will teach Naruto how to control part of the Nine-Tails chakra and the art of summoning. The rest of the month will be filled with harsh training and great excitement for Naruto. The challenge of mastering something new was Naruto's favorite feeling. When the whole month of rest ended, Naruto completely mastered the summoning technique as well as having some progress utilizing the Nine-Tails chakra. Since parting ways with Sasuke a month ago, Naruto hasn't seen Sasuke even once. Because of this, Naruto would frequently enter his mindscape and talk with the Nine-Tails in his free time. Although not once did the Nine-Tails ever reply, Naruto could feel that the Nine-Tails chakra was becoming a bit easier to command. In the mountains where Sasuke trained, holes between rocks could be seen everywhere. During this month, Sasuke continuously refined his Chidori to the point where even Kakashi couldn't help but praise his hard work. Now, Sasuke could use at least 3 Chidoris each day with only 2 seconds of charging between each use. On top of this, Sasuke also mastered the beginning of shape transformations. Whenever he used a Chidori now, Sasuke can control the lightning chakra to form a 10cm blade extension at his fingertips, increasing his Chidori's reach and penetration. The last day of the 1-month rest has now ended. During the 1 month, a few of the contestants improved exponentially, learning new techniques and jutsus, while others didn't improve at all. At the arena, All types of people gathered in the stands, waiting for the Chunin exam finals to begin. While everyone settled in, the first contestants were announced. The first fight would be between Naruto and Neji. Hearing this announcement, Naruto felt confident and content as he could finally able to exact his revenge against Neji for nearly killing Hinata a month ago. Jumping down from the stands, Naruto lands in the arena soundlessly before walking to his starting position. Once both contestants were ready, the proctor began counting down. 3, 2, 1, begin! Right as the proctor's voice landed, both Naruto and Neji charged at each other. A short hand-to-hand combat then ensued, with Naruto and Neji seemingly equal in power. "If this is all you've got, then you're fated to lose," says Neji, as he activates his Byakugan, changing the tide of battle to his favor. Naruto, noticing Neji has the upper hand, summons dozens of clones and resumes hand-to-hand combat. "This Naruto isn't as bright as I thought. Facing a Hyuga in hand-to-hand combat, he's destined to lose," thinks Neji, as he easily destroys the Naruto clones coming at him with his gentle fist technique. The rhythm of battle then repeats over and over, with Naruto summoning clones to fight Neji, and Neji destroying them without much effort. "This standstill has gone on for long enough. I was waiting for Naruto to make a first move, but it seems that I was overthinking it. Time to end this battle," thinks Neji, using a rotation to instantly destroy all of Naruto's clones before charging at the real Naruto. Caught surprised by Neji's sudden increase in power, Naruto wasn't able to react quick enough and was hit a few times before leaping backwards. "Is this all the Uchihas have to offer? I guess the title of the Sharingan twins was just a bluff. I've already blocked half of your chakra points. It's time to end this fight. You're fated to lose to me, Naruto," mocks Neji. "So, this is how it works," comments Naruto, using his right hand to unblock the blocked chakra points on his body. "It's indeed time to end this. I've already learned enough of your taijutsu technique," replies Naruto with a smirk. "Combination technique! Great Fire Tornado!" yells Naruto. All around Neji, Naruto clones begin popping out from the ground. Once they completely surround Neji, the clones then each launch their respective jutsus, creating a massive fire tornado swallowing Neji's body. "Rotation!" Neji yells, as he begins spinning in place, attempting to disperse the attack. But, to his surprise, the rotation only created a protective layer separating him from the sea of flames. Inside the flames, Neji quickly began feeling lightheaded. Waves of fatigue rushed through his head as the oxygen around him gradually thinned, as well as the environment becoming progressively hotter. In the stands was a throw Kage and a disguised Orochimaru. Impressive. Having knowledge of the Hyuga clan's absolute defense, he avoids using techniques that go directly against it. Instead, Naruto traps his opponents in a vortex of flames, which can quickly burn away the opponent's available oxygen and weigh their target down. What a smart move, compliments the fourth Kazekage. "And what a great vessel," he adds in his mind. Back in the arena. Within a minute of being trapped inside the sea of flames, Neji's lack of oxygen finally takes its toll. Unconscious, Neji falls to the ground, stopping his rotation. Without any form of defense left, the vortex of flames around him began burning his skin. Seeing that Neji was defenseless and in real danger, the proctor finally announces Naruto's win, concluding the battle. Understanding that he won, Naruto then disperses his technique before casually walking out the arena, not even sparing a look at the burnt, unconscious Neji. "I got you your revenge, Hinata," mutters Naruto, making his way back to the stands. After Naruto and Neji's match, the proctor announced the next one, which is Sasuke vs Gaara. Like canon, Sasuke would be late, so they skip his match and move on to Kankuro vs Shino. Kankuro resigns, making Shino the winner. The proctor then announces the next match between Shikamaru and Temari. This next fight will play out exactly like canon. After an interesting battle between the two, Shikamaru will resign at the end, allowing Temari to win. After Shikamaru and Temari exited the arena, Gaara, standing on a platform of sand, lowers himself onto the arena grounds. After a couple minutes of waiting, Gaara became restless and asked the proctor when his opponent was going to arrive. When, all of a sudden, Kakashi along with Sasuke appears in the stands. Jumping off the edge and gently landing onto the ground, Sasuke dashes behind Gaara, surprising him with his speed. Instinctively, Gaara compared Sasuke's speed with Lee's, before concluding that Sasuke was actually faster. Walking out from behind Gaara with a smirk, Sasuke then heads to his starting position. 3, 2, 1, begin, the proctor announces. The beginning of this fight follows exactly like canon. Sasuke begins with close-range combat at speeds fast enough to get past Gaara's sand defense, destroying the sand armor along Gaara's skin. After getting knocked around in the air before being smashed to the ground, Gaara's mental state begins to break down. Forming a tiger seal with his hands, Gaara encases himself in a solid sand ball. Sasuke attempts to break past the ball, but fails several times, one time almost injuring himself. Not wanting to waste any more time, Sasuke uses the Chidori, which shocks many of the audiences as well as Gaara. Charging forward with his Sharingan activated, Sasuke's Chidori was able to penetrate Gaara's sand ball. Gaara's scream then echoed in the arena, which made Sasuke smile. But soon, the smile faded away as he noticed he couldn't pull his arm out. Stinging pain that runs through Sasuke's arms, and without much thinking, Sasuke activates the Chidori once more, finally allowing him to pull out his arm. Along with his arm was a demonic hand attached to it. Quickly leaping backward, Sasuke pries the sand off his arm. Finally, when he was a safe distance away, Sasuke looked back at the sand ball. Through the hole he created, Sasuke sees a powerful eye staring back at him, which causes shivers to go down his spine. The battle seemed to stop. The only thing moving was a demonic hand. Once the demonic hand fully retracted back in the ball began to crack and fall apart, revealing an injured Gaara. Simultaneously in the stands, a massive genjutsu was cast, causing most people to fall asleep. This marked the beginning of the invasion. As people began to slump over in their seats unconscious, an explosion of smoke came off where the third Kage and the fourth Kazekage sat. Many Black Ops members in the stands went to assist the third Kage, leaving Kakashi and Guy to hold off the other enemies. Sometime after the Anbus left to assist the third Kage, Kabuto, along with many enemy ninja disguised as civilians, came out and confronted Kakashi and Guy, beginning an intense battle. In the village. Within the village streets, hundreds of enemy ninja took off their disguises and began their assault. Outside the village borders, a group of ninjas summoned a giant three-headed snake that began to wreak havoc upon the village as it broke through the walls. "What the hell is going on?" Sasuke shouts as he hears screaming and the sounds of metal clashing. While Sasuke stays still, trying to process the events that had happened, Temari and Kankuro, already in the arena, is trying to calm Gaara down, but to no avail. Baki, their sensei, then ordered them to take Gaara somewhere else and stabilize his emotions so he is ready for the invasion. As the three sand ninjas leave, the proctor appears before Sasuke and tells him to follow after them and make sure they are subdued. He also reminds Sasuke to be careful, as this is no longer a match. Understanding the situation, Sasuke goes after the trio of sand ninja. Noticing that Sasuke has taken off, Naruto turned around to go after him, but was stopped by Kakashi. Before Naruto could ask why, Kakashi insisted he form a temporary 4-ninja squad. Realizing the meaning behind Kakashi's words, Naruto agreed and asked who he should include for the task, which Kakashi answered with the names Sakura, Shikamaru, and the dog he shortly summoned. After a full 4-ninja team was formed, Naruto and Ko quickly headed off with the dog leading the way. The following events will basically stay the same as canon. The fight between Sasuke and Temari will conclude with Sasuke's victory. When facing the Sand Village reinforcements, both Shikamaru and Naruto will stay behind. So, while Shikamaru, like canon, will use shadow paralysis on the big group, Naruto takes on the Jonin hidden in the trees. This standstill will hold until Asuma arrives and swaps places with Naruto, who heads off to support Sasuke. When Sasuke catches up to Gaara and Kankuro again, the same happens where Kankuro switches places with Temari and tries to hold off Sasuke. Shino, then to everyone's surprise, appears and takes on Kankuro in Sasuke's place, allowing Sasuke to continue his pursuit. Back with Sasuke. After a few minutes of non-stop pursuit, Gaara eventually wakes up from his coma, forcing Temari to stop running. When Sasuke comes face to face with Gaara, he begins stating how he was going to put a stop to Gaara and the Sand Village's plans. Sasuke's comment angers Gaara even more, which begins to speed up Gaara's transformation. As the right side of Gaara's body shatters, Gaara begins explaining how alike Sasuke and him are and how their purpose is what gives them strength. Gaara then ludicrously screams about he was going to kill Sasuke like a predator and prey. When Gaara's right half completely transforms, Sasuke witnesses what he saw before during his match against Gaara. Leaping towards Sasuke at incredible speed, Gaara swings his arm, which misses Sasuke but tears apart the trees where Sasuke stood. On repeat, Gaara begins slashing away at Sasuke, every time ending with Sasuke barely escaping. After using a shadow clone as a distraction, Sasuke manages to get out of Gaara's sight and hides behind a tree. Losing sight of his prey, Gaara becomes impatient. He starts leveling the area, trying to find the hidden Sasuke. Knowing the caliber of his opponent, Sasuke decides that his only chance is with his 2 remaining Chidoris. Using the time he has hiding, Sasuke charges up his second Chidori of the day. Noticing the threat Sasuke's Chidori posed, Gaara launches himself towards Sasuke's location right as Sasuke charges towards Gaara. The two then clash in mid-air. Sasuke's Chidori rips apart Gaara's right arm, which causes him to briefly scream in agony. The damage from the clash furthers Gaara's transformation, forming a tail of sand. Using his transformed arm and tail, Gaara launches himself like a slingshot towards Sasuke, who had to activate the Sharingan to react. With only seconds to react, Sasuke jumps away to dodge Gaara's lunge attack. After dodging a few more of Gaara's attacks, Sasuke launches a fireball jutsu as a distraction. Using the attack to block Gaara's vision of him, Sasuke was able to hide once again. Determined to give it his all in his last Chidori, Sasuke pours all the chakra he has remaining into the technique. Gaara and Sasuke then clash once again. This time, Sasuke's Chidori was able to do much more damage to Gaara's body, but it still wasn't enough. After regrowing his whole right side along with the tail, Gaara's left side also began to transform. Exhausted by depleting his chakra, Sasuke's curse mark begins to act up. Immediately after completing his transformation, Gaara launches himself towards Sasuke, with Sasuke unable to dodge. Just when Sasuke was about to be hit, Sakura arrives, and by the nick of time, she was able to get Sasuke out of danger. "Sakura, what are you doing here?" Sasuke asks as Sakura puts him down on a tree. "No time to talk. Tell me, can we beat this guy?" Sakura asks, trying her best to keep her eye on Gaara. "Most likely not. His power is overwhelming. The only thing we can do is wait for others to come," Sasuke answers, trying to withstand the pain coming from the curse mark. "Is Naruto here yet? We definitely need him if we are even to stand a chance against this guy," Sasuke adds. "Look out!" Sakura yells, pushing Sasuke aside to invade Gaara, who charges at the duo. Leaping away to another tree, Sakura barely evades Gaara's attack. Quickly, Sakura turns around in midair and throws a dozen shurikens at Gaara, only for them to be absorbed and thrown back fast enough to catch on fire. Sakura, with no time, uses the substitution jutsu, replacing herself with a log that was immediately shredded into splinters. At her new location, Sakura throws more kunais at Gaara, but this time with a twist. As Gaara absorbs the incoming kunai, Sakura smirks. At the speed the human eye can barely see, Gaara's arm begins to expand before completely exploding to bits. It turns out that Sakura had actually attached paper bombs to all the kunai she threw at Gaara the second time. Not allowing Gaara to fully regenerate from the damage, Sakura charges forward holding a chakra-enhanced kunai with the intent to kill. But before she could get close enough, an arm wrapped in sand moves directly at Sakura's body. Changing her strategy in a fraction of a second, Sakura attacks the branch Gaara was standing on, destroying Gaara's balance and making him fall. Using the branch as something to bounce off of, Sakura launches herself towards the ground. Once she lands, she quickly forms the hand signs for the Earth-style rock pillar spear before slamming her hand onto the ground. Pouring in all her remaining chakra, Sakura creates a massive rock spear below Gaara, hoping that this jutsu will do the job. But, to her disappointment, right as Gaara was about to be penetrated by the rock, the sand on his body completely envelops him, completing his upper body transformation. After completing his transformation, Gaara easily crushes Sakura's massive rock spike. Landing onto the ground, Gaara then locks eyes with Sakura while laughing hysterically. Staring Gaara straight in the eye, Sakura begins feeling the horror of Gaara's powers. With no chakra remaining, all she could do is stay in place and wait to be killed. Done playing with Sakura's emotions, Gaara decides to exact his revenge. With a wicked smile, Gaara charges at Sakura. But, right before Gaara could reach her, Sasuke appears beside Sakura and launches an extremely powerful fireball jutsu. Pouring in all his remaining chakra into the technique and tapping into the curse mark, Sasuke blows out a huge torrent of flames. Gaara, not expecting such a powerful attack, could only raise his hands to block before being engulfed and pushed back. After the flames subsided, Gaara, now a long way from Sasuke and Sakura, could be seen with both his arms completely burned. Gaara's face then went from crazy and bloodthirsty to being filled with inextinguishable rage. "You hurt me. You will die," roars Gaara, as he launches himself towards the two exhausted ninjas. Just as Gaara was about to kill Sasuke, dozens of Naruto clones along with the real one came in and kicked Gaara away. With no pause in between, Naruto and his clones charged towards Gaara, knocking him around using the Gale Palm and slowly shaving away Gaara's sand. After fully incapacitating Gaara, Naruto sends two of his clones to relocate Sasuke and Sakura to a safer area. Just when the two clones carrying Sasuke and Sakura made it a safe distance away, a massive sand beast appears in Gaara's place, sending a shockwave destroying all of Naruto's offensive clones and pushing the original Naruto back. Naruto, seeing the sheer size of his opponent, immediately begins the summoning jutsu. Drawing out some blood from his fingers, Naruto slams his hands onto the ground, summoning the Chief Toad Gamabunta. The rest of the fight will essentially be the same as canon, with the exception that here Gamabunta actually listens to Naruto since he respects Naruto's strength. Gamabunta will clash against Shukaku, Gaara will then make himself fall asleep and give full control to Shukaku, Naruto will then wake Gaara up, and in the end spare Gaara's life, cause he saw what his life would have been if he didn't have Sasuke, his friends, and his family. The ending will also be the same, with Naruto somewhat emphasizing with Gaara. Naruto will also make Gaara realize that he also has people that care for him, like his siblings, Kankuro and Temari, who after Gaara was out of commission, immediately dropped in to save Gaara. After the Konoha Crush. After returning to the village, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura hear the news of the third Hokage's death. The news hurt Naruto and Sasuke a lot, much more than canon. The reason is that in this version, the third Hokage really acted like the grandparents after the Uchiha massacre. He trained them when they needed a sensei, and gave advice/help whenever the two Uchihas needed it. Naruto and Sasuke also understand that if it wasn't for the third Hokage's support during their darkest moments, they surely wouldn't have pulled through that well. After thinking back to the memories they had with the third Hokage, along with the number of important living advice he gave them, Naruto and Sasuke cried their first tears since they opened up about the massacre. The death of the third Hokage enhanced both Naruto and Sasuke's urge for power, because they believed if they were strong enough, the third Hokage's death wouldn't have occurred. And this, guys, is where I'm going to end What If Naruto Was an Uchiha Part 25. Apologies for the inconsistent uploading schedule. As some of you may know, I'm beginning my university life, so side hobbies like YouTube will need to wait. Don't worry though, because when I have my next break, I will continue to upload on this channel. This will be the end of this video, so until next time, see ya!